Hello everyone, my name is Shaylin Allison, and today I'm going to be trying to persuade you that college should in fact be free. I know this statement is very far-fetched and it seems impossible in the society that we live in, which is money runs the world, but I personally believe that it could be a very effective, especially when geared towards America. So when you think of the college experience, you think of meeting new people and networking. You think of educating yourself further, the main point of going to college. And then you start thinking of yourself as becoming an individual. Most people that come to college, they're around 17, 18 years old, so there is usually no precursor to jobs and equity and things of the such that can pay for this experience that is millions and millions of dollars. And part of that experience is being able to network yourself and create friends and exposure and go to these different events that gives you a buzz as a human. And then obviously to educate yourself in the field in which you plan on pursuing. The last part of the college experience that not everyone thinks of, but it is a good selling point, is all the free stuff that you can obtain in college. There's often free meals around holiday times, or even just as a booster, there is free t-shirts all the time. There are free concerts depending on the university and the pull and the alumni. So if those things naturally pull in a college eligible student, I think the idea of a free education would definitely bring in a bunch of people. So the main argument with this um, persuasive essay would be the financial aspect, which makes complete sense. That's the way the money works. Our society works, but our society is built off financial balance. The idea that people go to work and they make money, then they get off work and they spend said money, which then goes back into building things and paying the people that need to be building these things, and so on and so forth. Yet, we have seen how imbalanced our country has been for a very long time. And a lot of that starts with student debt. Uh, it's not commonly talked about in our society that student debt is a big factor because there's definitely things that need to be focused on in a more humane way, as in homelessness, kids going hungry, or foster systems. There's definitely other problems that our country has, but on an individual level, student debt is a very, very problematic part of our country. There was a article called "The Path of Free College in Pursuit of Access, Equity, and Prosperity," and Michelle Miller Adams states that tuition-free college, if pursued strategically and in alignment with other sectors, can be a powerful agent of change. And that's the whole idea behind this argument, is you're strictly just looking for change in a way to make our country better. And I think this would be a very good starting point. My solution to the financial gap that this may cause would be a conveyor belt solution, as in there's no initial cost up front, but there is an agreement between the eventual what is the word I'm looking for? The eventual uh, boss or employer, that you will get your education paid for up front, but once you are working in the said career that you were educating yourself for, then you will pay that money back rather than putting yourself behind as a young 17 or 18-year-old. The counter arguments to this would be that there's no accountability, money just does not grow on trees, but there are solutions to that, as in professors can be paid through the money that would be usually paid to the actual individual during that time, instead of it being such a upfront lump sum, and so on and so forth. There's plenty of loopholes in which this could be very, very doable. And based off accountability would be a year-to-year agreement signed like no different than any other scholarship. If you choose to not continue the program, then you pay back the money that you quote unquote wasted. There was a study done in Chile that actually has started tuition-free education back in 2011, and they were debating on whether or not it was a what did they say? A popular idea, or if it was just creating more of a devastating gap. And the policy and the amount of people taking advantage of said free college was not enough to draw a consensus on whether this argument was correct or not. And then with both of those statements that I listed, again, this would be contractual, or would be on a contract basis. So there would be no arguing. You signed the agreement, so there is a form of accountability because you knew what you were signing up for. Overall, I think our collegiate school systems could use some work, and college students deserve some empathy. This is the first time that a lot of these people are going into the real world, and yet we would like to set up our future leaders and everyone else thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, when in reality, if we start them even and have them work towards our system, I think it could be better prosperity for everyone. There was also a article called High Achieving with Low Income Students by Susan Durinsky, and she made the statement that behavior bias intensified by complexity and uncertainty in the admissions and aid process may explain this gap. In a large-scale experiment, we test early commitment of free tuition at a Flagstaff university. Basically, the gap between these two could, in fact, help our students in the long run. Also, going back to the path to free college argument, Michelle Adams stated that the higher education is public interest, yields dividends not only for the individuals but for the community. And that would be my argument, that we're not just trying to better one individual so that they do not have student debt. We are trying to help move our nation forward and pay the individuals and the future leaders of our community a better chance at succeeding and giving them a less stressful situation to eventually lead our community. Again, I believe that college should be free, and thank you for listening.